Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Ryan Bledsoe was arrested. Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 39-year-old Texas resident Jason Hyland is the man who chartered a jet and flew from Texas to D.C. with fellow January 6 defendants Jenna Ryan and Catherine Schwab. On January 4th, Hyland sent a group message saying, quote, "Thanks for joining me to D.C. to stand up for America. This will be historic, no matter the outcome. We will leave from U.S. Trinity Hangar at Denton Airport tomorrow at the 5th at 3 p.m. Plan to arrive 15 minutes early. P.S. Please register for the events on the 6th at trumpmarch.com. On January 6th, Hyland live streamed to Facebook. This was as they were walking to the Capitol, and Hyland was captured on surveillance video and in photos entering and inside the Capitol. He was with Schwab and Ryan. Hyland was interviewed by the FBI on January 19th, and he admitted to entering the Capitol, although Hyland alleged that officers held the doors open for him and the others in the mob. And when Hyland asked if he could go inside, he claims that one of the officers said, quote, "Everyone else is." But there were incriminating videos found on Hyland's phone, which showed his true intentions. He never shared these videos publicly, but in one video taken after Hyland exited the Capitol, he's seen and heard saying, quote, "They're coming for taxpayers like me who pay over $500,000 a year in taxes. I just entered this fucking house because I own part of it. We're not going to quit. You can't steal elections from us." On January 7th, Ryan texted Hyland and the rest of the group to complain about threats and other negative reactions that she was getting on social media. And Hyland replied to her and said, quote, "We did not commit violence or destruct property. I'm hoping my generosity for the plane ride doesn't backfire. Y'all need to stop talking to people about it completely and delete all of your related social media posts, especially if I'm in them. Appreciate it in advance, and I hope to see you all again when the dust settles." So Hyland was arrested on February 2nd of last year. He was charged with entering restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of parading in a Capitol. In March of this year, Hyland pleaded guilty to the parading charge. He was looking at up to 6 months in jail, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 30 days behind bars, 3 years of probation, 60 hours of community service, and a $500 restitution fee. Hyland's attorney had asked the court for 12 months of probation only, 30 hours of community service. They set a fine of up to $5,000 and a $500 restitution fee. In his sentencing memo to the court, Hyland wrote in part, quote, "January 6th was one of the worst days of my life. I am shaken by the realization that I traveled from Texas to Washington to attend a rally that motivated me to become part of a crowd that threatened the lives of elected officials and law enforcement officers and the peaceful transition of our government." He went on to say that he doesn't condone or excuse his actions or the actions of others, and he acknowledged the, quote, "extremely difficult and dangerous jobs that the police forces had that day." Hyland also said, quote, I take full responsibility for my conduct and the harm my actions cause to the dedicated government servants working inside the Capitol and to the entire country. I am ashamed that I have put myself in a position that requires me to convince others that my actions that day do not reflect the values I have held my entire life and that I have worked very hard to teach my children. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper presided over this case, and I couldn't locate any details about what he said in court. But in the end, Hyland was sentenced to only 7 days in jail, a $4,000 fine, and $500 in restitution. This sentence is a joke. Only 7 days in jail, 0 community service. That is pathetic. And clearly, this guy can afford more than $4,000. I mean, at least make it sting a little bit. You know, if you're paying $500,000 in taxes, he could be full of it. But let's say he is. Let's say give him the benefit of the doubt. He's telling the truth. He pays $500,000 a year in taxes. That means that your profit every year is in the millions, not net income in the millions. Profit, your taxable income, is in the millions. That's what he owes after writing down all of his business expenses and calculating his taxable income. With the exception of Thomas Robertson and his sentence, Judge Cooper's sentencing decisions have been complete and utter shit. He's not going to deter anyone. And keep in mind, Jenna Ryan got 60 days in jail. And that was primarily from her big mouth and her spouting off. I mean, this guy didn't spout off after the fact. And by all accounts, the other woman that went with him and Ryan, she's now become his girlfriend, they actually were not happy about what Ryan said. But, you know, was that because they didn't like what happened at the Capitol after they realized what all took place that they didn't see when they were inside? Or was it because it implicated them and it put them in the line of fire? Guess we'll never know. And again, you got kids. How about thinking of them instead of Trump? How about putting your children ahead of your loyalty to a sociopath, a narcissist who wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire? Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening. When I hear more, or if I hear more, I will let you know. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.